Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Scourge League 3.16. In this episode, well, there it is. We caught the Mageblood. With just one flask, do you want 214 move speed? Another flask taking our armor from 16,000 to 29,000 and our evasion from 21 to 4,145. Another flask. We gain we go up to 42,000 from 29,000 armor, and we gain 200 regen from 400 regen to 600 regen. With this flask, we upgrade our evasion rating, and we get all the elemental resistance we would need in the build. We can also go for a basalt flask instead of a stibnite flask, and it would give us 58,000 armor. So we lose that extra evasion rating, but then it can still work, and we can still get the elemental res through the same mod. So you can swap those out. We can also swap it for ruby flask, and so instead of armor, we get less fire damage taken for like a blight, and we still have the elemental res. I have the this is supposed to be like this. There we go. Usually I swap. There we go. And then even more, I could do this. Take out the move speed flask when you're let's say AFK blight. You don't need the move speed. And then you have your 58,000 armor, or you could do the evasion instead of the armor. There's also another way to gain evasion. I upload daily. Please like and subscribe. There's also this setup where I ran stibnite, Ellie res. You run a granite with evasion, and you run the Ellie res basalt. So we have basalt, stibnite, both the more armor, more evasion. We have both the flat armor, flat evasion. Then we have both the increased evasion, increased armor mods. Then we have the increased effect of all of it. Then we have we used these enkindling orbs to get the increased effect. So we're up to 59,000 armor, 10,000 evasion, but we don't have the extra 200 regen, and we wouldn't have the less fire damage taken. We don't have the move speed, but this is just a tanky setup to show you what's possible with the things. Technically with this we could get the extra regen if we just had one of these mods fixed, or we could get some move speed, but yeah, this is really insane. So as you can tell, there's a lot of flask combinations you can use, but basically how this belt works, it's a Mageblood. It makes the leftmost 4 magic utility constantly apply their flask effects to you, so you can press them, doesn't matter. They stay full and they stay active. Even if you lose all the flask charges, they're still active. And so they're just always active. And as you can tell, we can actually use a unique flask on the leftmost slot. And these are then the most left blue slots. So these 4 get activated. It doesn't matter what order. I like my Forbidden Taste in the first slot, so I do this. And as you can tell, there's a lot of flask combinations. There's even... we have reduced effective curses, so you're immune to curse. You get your full elemental resist for the whole build. Evasion rating's insane. I found this. So in June, there are Cinder Swallow flasks. You get this from killing Katarina, and then you can unveil a mod. So as you can see here, I got regen 3% of life per second. It becomes a real mod now, but before it would be a crafted mod. And so then you could get these crafts by unveiling them on Cinder Swallows, and the ones I found really interesting are these. You can get this on a normal flask now of like 40%, but this is 50% crafted, automatic, easy. Like as long as you have an open suffix, you just craft it for 6 glass blowers baubles. It's completely broken. It's more than the mod on the flask. The flask can get like 40%. So this is broken. 3% regen, like I showed in my build. I go from 400 regen to 600, so I'm gaining like 200 on this life is pretty good. If I had more life it would be more, but it still seems like a lot of regen. I could also, like I said, I could go with the other things, the curse. We can swap in different things. We don't always have to run. I'm just testing stuff. I just got the belt. We're trying stuff out. I also found this. Percent of damage taken from hits is leached as life during flask effect. So leech, you could scale it life, and it's like recoup, but it's leached, so it's not delayed by 4 seconds, but it's not instant. but it's really good. That seems cool. That seems really cool. So I just want to mention, and then it's buffed. You could get the increased effect, and then the increased effect from the enkindling orb. So it's like 30% of damage from hits is leech's life, and then you could scale the 30% with more leech modifiers and more leech things, and that's just the opponent healing you for the damage they do, which is pretty good. That's pretty cool. Quick thank you to my Patreon and YouTube members: Steven C. Hennis, Brandon, George, Logan, Rico549, The Chrome Dog, Garbard, Neon, Tradnix, Nicholas, White Wolf, Pascal. You could also, in your build, naturally build like the armor and evasion, right? Let's say you have the banner and you're using determination and grace. You have tons of armor and evasion. You don't need these flasks or mods. Then maybe, like let's say you didn't run any of that, you could fit ruby, topaz, sapphire, all the less elemental damage taken, and then it gets scaled because it gets the increased effect. So it's like 40% less fire, cold, and lightning damage taken. It's absolutely insane. You could get their own mods, and you could be like immune to curse, the stun, the res, and maybe the regen, or maybe a move speed flask in there. Because what would you do as your fourth flask is also a question. I guess move speed. It's pretty cool. This belt is insane because you can now build around it. So I'll explain already how I've started to build around it. So I mentioned that you get your reses, you get ridiculous armor, regen. It's really nice, and then the move speed. Obviously, when I go with my flesh offering and my phase run and my perma 214 move speed, actually insane. So what we've been able to already upgrade, what I've already thought about, is I don't need the res from this ring. So I could get a really easy ring now. And this glove, I already deleted the res. So you may know that I had another glove, and it was like item level 71, and I got 35 chaos, and then it had like 2 other reses, and I crafted life. So this time I used aberrant fossils and pristine fossils, and I crafted life, chaos res, and then I was looking for open prefix so I could craft minion damage. And so I didn't need the elemental res on the glove either, which made this an easier craft. One thing I've lost though is I lost an abyssal socket. I don't have the abyssal socket anymore, so I don't have my taunt blind in the build, which is kind of unfortunate. And then the tree, I actually gained a bunch of strength from the implicit on the Mageblood, and we get all this dex, so I don't need the dex from the Ami anymore, this 44, way too much. And then also the 42 strength meant that I didn't need to path to this jewel socket for the strength, which meant I could go for another large cluster jewel, which is Feasting Fiend's Renewal Vicious Bite. And that seems good, because it's an extra jewel socket, it's more minion damage. Took out the little bit here, still have 1 extra here. 99, I want to get 30, I want to get 100. And there's a lot more min-maxing around this belt to do, and this is just the belt upgrade. And I think that there's a few ways to go around this. I think the best way is probably building your own armor and evasion, and then getting also the elemental reduction, because it's a bonus on top, where if you're missing the evasion and armor, you cannot get the effect of the ruby, topaz, and sapphire in your build. So it's just an extra layer of defense if you can make up these in your build. So you could be really tanky, like really tanky. And then if you're running ruby, sapphire, topaz, I don't think you would be running Zabakwa, because then you're making the elemental go against your chaos, which doesn't get less damage, which doesn't make any sense. So you would rather just do this with some max Eli res, and then you'd be pretty much the same as Zabakwa. It could be better. And then I was even thinking of a universe where you use Mageblood, you do the Eli res, you go CI, and now you don't have to build chaos res, elemental res, and you could go for the armor evasion, and now you have literally all of your defenses through Mageblood. It's an absolutely insane belt. It's insane. The theory crafting has only just begun. I need currency now. I spent it all on this belt, and all the flasks and all the upgrades of changing the build around. I'm already enjoying the hell out of it. Obviously, just this alone, just the move speed alone. You do heist, you do I do loot a blight map. Everything and everything is affected. I get double the move speed of what I had, and it's really, and I'm tankier, and they're just permanently up for boss fights. It's really enjoyable. This is good. All right. Now that I've gone through all the fun, cool stuff that I've come up with for now, I realized through editing that I hadn't talked about or gone over the progress or the process to get this belt. So I wanna fill you guys in on how it went and what I did and how I made the money, and yeah, all my recommendations from what I learned through grinding. So it started off. Where did I get? How much did it cost? Yeah, we should say that. This cost 113 exalts and a Mirror of Calandra. I bought the Mirror of Calandra for 172.5x, so this was 285.5x. At the time, the cheapest on the market, there was 6 of them at 300x, and I messaged them all, and I was like, yo, 109 in a mirror. And then one guy goes 113 in a mirror, and another guy said 116 in a mirror, and so I did the 113 when I got it within like 10 minutes. And so how did I make the money? That's a lot of money. That's insane. That's like, besides some of the stuff I did in heist, that's like the craziest thing. And I guess maybe my two-handed fortify zombie weapon and maybe the body armor shit I've done before, but this is like one of the biggest items I've ever done in the game and farmed for. So basically, the first big, well, obviously we farmed our whole character. That was all the progress in the game, all the maps, all Awakener, a bunch of like 20 Awakener 9s, all the shit, the heisting, all the heist characters, all the blueprints, all the heists. I did like hundreds of contracts and lots of blueprints with the reveals, and I did tons of Blight. Okay, so that was the original character, like 200 exalts, and then we had to farm the extra belt because I didn't sell my character at all. So it all started with, I was doing Blight and I was doing T15s. I was making decent money. We moved up to T16s finally, made the video for T16 AFK Blight, and then not very long in, like maybe 2 or 3 days into AFK T16 Blight farming for the Mageblood, I got a Headhunter. And I sold the Headhunter for 119 exalts. I put that on the YouTube, got a clip for it, and then I farmed up to the Mirror, so the Mirror was 172.5x. That was also through Blight. It was the whole way up to, from like 30x to 172.5 was AFK T16 Blight. Over like, I'd say 5-6 days. Well, no, actually it was 3 days because of the Headhunter. Yeah, the Headhunter drop boosted it. I was getting like 500 to 1,000 chaos per hour with AFK T16 Blight, and I was getting the Uber Blights were selling for a lot. I was selling the Uber Blights for like 23c per. But point is, AFK T16 Blight was the way I got all the way to the Mirror. Then I was at 20x and the Mirror, and I got the 20x also from AFK T16 Blight. Majority of the money from the T16 Blight is coming from like the stacked decks. The scarabs are huge. Like the Gilded Harbinger, Gilded Div, all of these scarabs went up in price because people started mapping like crazy once they figured out the magic find. So everything basically isn't worth farming yourself unless you're magic finding, kind of. It's really weird for the really expensive stuff. And so Blight, a lot of the stuff in Blight went up in price if you held on to it, and then like Expedition, the Harbinger, Ambush, all the scarabs, every good scarab went up in price. And what else was really good? Oh, currency, you get exalts obviously, and the gems, you get some 2120s. But Blight was the majority of my money, and then we're at a mere 20x, and to get the final push, because I needed to go from 190 to 290 basically, so 100x, and I did it yesterday, all day. I did AFK T16 Blight 10 hours, made a lot of money. The best drop I got the entire time was an Enlighten 1, which was 3.1x. That's ridiculous. It's so surprising that an Enlighten 1 is 3.1x. and I have an Enlighten in my build. Feels bad, actually. I didn't realize how expensive just an Enlighten was. That's crazy. And that's to run a Vitality in our build. Like, what the heck? So that was kind of interesting to figure out. But yeah, that was the best drop I got. Then, this is where it gets interesting. I was thinking about liquidating my stash, and I was using... I used Excellence next. If you guys don't know what that is, I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to leave a link to all the stuff I recommend, basically, what I used for this journey. Excellence next is a thing that tracks your stash and tells you what things are kind of worth, roughly, mostly, and so it can help you find the value in your stash, and then you can price it properly after. And so it does it in pages, and so on the first page is 10 items, and then 10 items, and then 10 items. So in the first 4 pages, I could pull out like 40 exalts from my stash pretty fast before. Obviously, I'm poor now. I can't do anything. But before I liquidated my stash, I could pull out a lot. But I realized as I was doing it that pricing each individual item was taking a long time. And I know that people were using this other thing. They call it Awakened PoE Trade. And I had never used it. And I was like, you know, this is the time, if there was ever a time, to try out using the price checker. So I did it. And then I've realized that you can, well, you install it, Awakened PoE Trade. I'll leave a link to that too. You Control D, and you get a list, and you can actually click the stock amount, which is how I would literally search on the trade. And so this just saves me time. This is just a huge time save, and I was able to search fast enough that the server, the trade site's telling me to slow down, so that's a good sign, I guess. And then that really helped me on pricing, because then I could, you know, Control D my stack, see what people are pricing it at around for this amount, which everything I had was pretty big stack, so it's only the more serious people. There were some price fixers, so you got to be careful, but obviously it's just the same as looking it up on the trade, because you see a bunch of listings and then you judge it based on that, and if there isn't enough information you can still look it up. But I found it really helpful. It saved me a lot of time. Basically, it was the time save of looking up the item and putting in how many I had, because I could just hover it in the game. It was more intuitive in the game. This feels right in game rather than going out of game. I like this a lot, and that's why I want to recommend it. I want to finally recommend. I haven't used it before this, but this was one of the things that really helped me to get the final push to the Mageblood. Helped me find the value in my items and sell them and put the prices. So I want to recommend the Excellence next first. I use it like currency cop to just track what my stash is worth, so I could tell when I should start, you know, liquidating to go for the Mageblood, how easy it would be. And then the second thing was I used Awaken PoE Trade to actually help me figure out bulk prices instead of just doing it through trade. It was actually faster. Yeah, really insane. So I'll leave a link to both of those. Had to mention them. Had to do this. It was huge, massive, and I don't understand them fully yet. I just do the Control D. There's probably a lot more features and things you can do, but Control D and looking up stacks and bulk and shit is really sick. And yeah, I'm probably gonna keep using it now. And now we have a Mageblood, boys. Huge. We get to experiment with this. If you guys have any other suggestions for flasks that I haven't thought of in this video, leave them in the comment section below. I think one of the coolest things that some people may not have thought of is the June Unveil, because that's just extra flask mods we can go for, and some of them are really cool, like this one, and the damage taken, healed or leeched, and the avoid stun. If somebody wants to be 100% stun immune with a flask like that, that does seem pretty powerful. Like I said, if they have the free armor, the free evasion, then they save a bunch of flasks. Like, do we really need 58,000 armor? Do I need to be immune to physical? Yeah, it's kind of fun. I don't know. I could also go to the 10,000 evasion. There's so many things to just try now. First, I want to get level 100 before I start limit testing tanky setups and you know, the build. I want to level because I don't want to lose my XP. That would really suck. Which kind of sucks that I'm at this break point where I need to level, and I have the belt. But now I have the belt to level, so that's nice. So either way, I'll see you guys in today's stream where I enjoy the belt. I hope you guys like this video. Thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you guys have great RNG. I hope you guys can get the belt yourself too. I hope you have all the best luck. I don't need the fucking luck anymore. Have it. Take it all. While you watch the stream, just siphon the luck out of my stream. Yes. I'll see you guys later though. Bye.